Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. This is my show. Appreciate you being with me this week. Thursday morning, if you're listening on a Thursday morning. If you're listening on a Monday morning, then it's Monday morning. But either way, we're going to feed the good wolf. We're going to start off with a great mindset, and we're just going to keep it pushing. You know, I've been really doing good 2023. I've been doing good, been feeding the good wolf, been working out, been feeling good. You know, my wife has been, she's been at it with me. Things have been, we're just slow and steady. We're keeping it going. Appreciate the support as always. This week we got a very fitting, motivational type of episode. This week I sit down with, I was thinking about this. He might be someone who's known me longer than any other guest that I've had on here besides for like my mom. But Dorian Robertson is someone that was, I grew up around him. He went to school with my brother. They were in the same grade, played sports together, all coming up. So I'm 6 years younger than my brother. So I was always there watching games, and he was always someone that was around. But Dorian now is a physical trainer. He has a Instagram at Train with Dorian, Dorian. You could check that out, but he is a physical trainer. He travels to location, and he works on a lot of functional type of training. He basically just wants to get you healthy for your life. You know what I mean? You're not going to be looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but obviously that's not the goals. But Dorian is a very interesting type of dude because his content is, the way people are into their fitness now is so interesting because you have different subgenres under this whole genre of fitness. You got, CrossFit, you got, functional fitness, you got bodybuilding, but, Dorian does a nice blend of, the first two, and it's something that I could just see, it just seems more realistic for people. You know what I mean? You just want to be living good. You want to be feeling good. You want your body to move well. You want to put oil in the joints like the Tin Man. Come on. Or you don't want to end up like the Tin Man, rather. But Dorian could help you out with that. He has an app, Train With Dorian. You could find it on any of the app stores, Google, Apple, the whole nine. But this week, Dorian comes in and we sit down and we talk about, basically his life. Like I said, he's someone that I've known forever, but I only known him on the surface, really. I never really knew why his passions of physical training and, I never knew where that came from. And this week we talk all about that. We talk about why his, career path led him to where he is today. We talk about his beliefs. We talk about his thoughts about, working out, why he does what he does, and, how it could enhance your life, to just carve out some time and dedicate a few hours of your week to your well-being, to your physical health. And on top of that, we talk about your mental health, because that's more of, it's more prominent now in today's age, but, back then wasn't that talked about. It's pretty wild, but definitely as important as your physical. But yeah, it's a great episode. I was happy to have Dorian in here. It's awesome to see people that you've known your whole life that are just completely, diving into their passions fully. And if you follow his Instagram at Train With Dorian, you will see, every day he's posting stories of, just workouts that he has his clients doing, and every single one of them, they're getting their ass kicked. So if you're looking for a good workout, hit Dorian up. He will completely customize your workout schedule. You guys will stay in contact throughout the whole process of it all. He's not like someone that's just, feeding you a workout and they're just, sending you out in the wild. He's a coach. That's his job. He's there to motivate you. He's there to guide you. He's there to make you better. And I think he does a pretty good job at it from what I could see. And I hope that this could help a few people, and I hope hope if someone's interested in some training, some coaching, some, just health advice and bettering your life in general, that you reach out to Dorian Robertson at Train With Dorian. And like I said, you could download his app. It's on the Google Store. It's on the Apple Store. And, check that out as well. You go on there, you type in your profile, you do answer a little questionnaire, and you could pretty much cater your workout to everything you need it to be. So I will quit talking your ears off, and without further ado, episode 231 is it 231? Let me look. I never remember. No, it's 232. Jeez, we're ripping through these episodes. Episode 232 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Dorian Robertson.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. And it's like, you'll be able to tell if you move away. It's, it's kind of weird like that. But I appreciate you coming over on a Friday.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for having me. I love this.
Absolutely.
Setup.
This is a long time coming. You've been at this when did you start doing all the training? As a job?
Oh, well, as a job, I've been doing it for a long time. I've always kind of crossed. I've done both physical therapy and personal training at the same time. Even when I first started as a physical therapist assistant back in 2008, I believe it was, or 9, I got a certification right away. And even though physical therapy was my main job, exercise was my thing, what I mean? And I just knew that I wanted to turn it into something, into my work at some point, or just do both at the same time and just have more knowledge, on the exercise part of it.
For sure. And another revenue stream.
Exactly.
Now, you knew that you wanted to do this out of high school?
No. Well, out of college, I would say. When I went to college and on my way to college, what really made me figure out what I wanted to do was my grandma being in the hospital when she was going through physical therapy.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about that, but I was trying to figure out what I wanted to go to school for.
Yeah.
And, I knew I liked to exercise, and she was like, why don't you come check out what I'm doing, while I'm here. You know what I mean? It was kind of a grim time because she was going through it. But it was also a light bulb went off in my head. Oh yeah, man, I would love to help people this way. I knew that I wanted to help people in some way in my life. And I just knew that was kind of going to be it through exercise. So
that's interesting to hear that you see it and then it kind of clicked with you, because another guy that I interviewed who is he's one of the big dogs at Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. Okay. He started off as just a musician in Colorado, and he saw a family member. He experienced a funeral of a family member, and it was poorly done. The embalming of a body and shit. And he was he was in his mid-30s, and he changed his whole career to become a funeral director, because he was it was like you said, a light bulb went off. He was I could do this better. I want to take care of people in a better way and not have people go through what I went through. And now that's his life's work. He's big dog down there, just a great guy. Great interview. It was interesting to hear about that, seeing a moment in your life where something really starts to shift.
Yeah, right. I was looking for something, but at the same time, it was cool how it came about, because I was able to connect with my grandmother before the end of her life, and then it helped me find a direction in my life. So I'm really thankful for her for that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what got me started into all that.
Now, before even, college or anything like that, growing up, we've known each other for a very long time. You've probably known me since I was maybe 3 or 4, maybe, probably even younger than that.
Yeah, man, you're small.
Real small. But, what did you want to do throughout school and everything? What, I know that you were into sports, you played sports with my brother and stuff. And I always knew that about you, but what other kind of stuff were you interested in?
That's a good question. Sports was always my thing, and the thing that I did as an activity, as an outlet, So, I was just an active kid. I just could never sit down.
Yeah.
So, I think being active was always interesting, and I just found peace and just like sweating and just kind of moving around.
Yeah, getting the energy out.
Yeah. So, but beyond that, I found myself. Wouldn't consider myself an artist at all, but I'm very like. I like to doodle, you know what I mean? And I'll sit down and do that, or like, but I don't do it a lot, but I love it. And I appreciate art, and I love,
creativity.
Just create anything creative, like where my brain gets to kind of like do something weird for a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Interesting to me. So
yeah, I was thinking about it today because I was like, my wife was like, it'll be a good conversation. Like, you've known him for a long time. And I was like, yeah, I've known him for a real long time, but like, I've never really like knew a lot about you. Like, we know each other, you know, in passing, but like, I never really knew what like your interests were. Like, I always knew that you were like fitness, athletic, but I never kind of saw how that, kind of went through. And it's weird to like think about it because, a lot of like younger memories. I remember you like, at the house and everything like that. And I was trying to like really, if there was anything that even popped into my mind.
This dude?
Yeah, I know. It's wild to think about that because it's just like, always there. But when you're, going through school, besides for, liking art a little bit, did you have any other idea, any other dream of what you wanted to be besides? No. I know, it's wild to think about. I asked so many people that and everyone's like, I had no clue.
No, I can straight up say that, I didn't almost go this direction. Like when I went to college, I went kind of as a pre-med major, and I was like, that's pretty intense.
Where'd you go?
Pitt Greensburg.
Yeah.
That was my first move out of high school, and then it made me shift gears. Just life kind of changed for me. I stopped school for like a year and then went to CCAC, and that's where I went to get my PTA degree.
What's PTA?
So physical therapist assistant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's an associate degree, right?
Yeah.
So I had some college credits already, and I was able to jump into an associate level program and just kind of cruise right into it.
The pre-med stuff was like hectic. You knew from the beginning that it was like pretty chaotic.
It was chaotic. You
got to like pour your life into it.
And I was playing baseball at the time, so I was a better student in college than I was in high school, but just playing sports and then trying to focus on that, it wasn't working for me, and I just was like, all right, I'm okay with shifting gears. Like, it felt like a little bit of defeat. I was taking a step back.
Yeah.
My parents weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
But it just helped me change directions, and I felt like it was one of those things in life that maybe not. It feels like a setback, but it was just a redirection.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's crazy to even think that like you're kind of like obligated to try to figure out what you want to do then, because it's like no one knows what the hell they want to do in life.
Yeah.
Like even now I'm 32, 10 years ago I was completely different.
Yeah.
And it's wild that like we're just like, you have to figure shit out immediately because no one really knows. And you're just like, you're young to the point where, you kind of feel like pressured into doing certain things because, it's almost like, expectations are just dumb shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about that. But, failure, how you were saying, like, you think of it as like a failure. It's like, it's interesting how you like see that because I don't know. I feel like whenever I hear that, I don't necessarily like think of that in the beginning just because you can't really like, put all that weight on like a young person like that. Yeah. But for you to like shift and do this physician's assistant, what was it again?
Physical therapy. So,
physical therapy assistant?
Yep. It's just kind of like a physician's assistant. They have, physicians have an assistant.
So what did you like, what was your goal? Just to be a physical therapist and like, kind of climb the ranks in that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't know beyond getting a, degree certification, finding a job and just finding a way to support myself.
Yeah.
That was really my goal. And I knew working in the medical industry, it was a secure place to be.
Yeah. People cake in there.
Right. People are always going to get hurt. People always need help, so I felt pretty secure in that. And I worked in a nursing home for my very first job in McKeesport. And
that was probably crazy.
That was it was a great experience, but one of the
eye-opening.
Yeah, very eye-opening. What I didn't think that's what I was going to be doing when I went to school. I learned that as I was in school. Like, okay, I'm going to be helping, not the athlete, that everybody sees like you're helping somebody after their basketball game, but you're helping people at all stages of life. That after they're old and they need help and they need
people that like from young age to old age. It's probably crazy.
So it's funny because that became a skill of mine. I just always connected with people that were older than me. Always dug hanging out with my grandparents when they were living. I spent some time with them whenever my parents would, have me spend time with them. And I think that primed me for like being able to deal with somebody who was older than me, more mature than me. And I think that, it led me into that. So it's funny how things line up into your life and like skills you build just from like living
100%.
help you later in life. So
absolutely. My dad had me with him all the time. So it was like, I was like, 5 or 6 talking with like having full grown adults like all around me all the time, like Harry Kusich, Rocky, and like those dudes down there at the baseball fields were just like, crazy. And that was just like a big,
there was a lot that soak in. Like it was good people. There was good people to be around. I mean,
good people, but it was just like, I was around a lot of older people, and it was like, like you said, it was what like kind of primed me for being able to like, be well versed in like communicating with just like anyone really.
Because I remember being around those dudes, man. It's just like, just kind of seeing the banter between them. It's just like, I could see how that can make you a better communicator in the way you're able to like, it's cool. It was the skills you learn in life.
Yeah, for sure. That is cool. Now you went to school for 2 years for that?
Yeah. So
come up on that mic a little bit for me, please.
Yeah. So yeah, it was funny. I went to school. I paid for 2 years, and then I went to CCAC for like 2.5 years.
At any point in time right now, were you like, I'm gonna try to become a physical trainer as well?
No, actually.
But you're still working out yourself pretty heavy?
I was in the gym.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that at that point I was thinking of creating income for myself with, it was just something I just loved to do.
Yeah.
So that just developed over some time, treating people, and then like, I can do this on my own and like
figure it out,
help people with this, as I got better and got more experience and learned more,
Did you end up like gravitating towards that where you like, some people were like, oh yeah, I went to school to be a nurse, I want to help people, but it's almost like such a grim thing because you're always dealing with like, negative stuff really. Yeah. Like did that almost like kind of, did you gravitate towards that, or did it kind of push you away a little bit?
No. I mean, it was something that eventually I wanted to change directions of what kind of setting I was in. You know, that it worked out for me for a little while. It was my first start. I got some great experience, and then I moved to working in an outpatient clinic, which was really cool. That was more the style of PT I wanted to be doing.
Yeah, like outpatient, like someone got rehab on their knee?
Yeah, like people get hip surgeries, knee surgeries, athletic injuries, that people are just rehabbing from that. So those are fun PT clinic, things.
Yeah.
People are running and doing the things that I'm kind of doing in the gym. They're helping them get back to those kind of things. So you can connect with them with that and help them really, get back to an active lifestyle where they're not hurting, or they're just able to do what they were able to do before, they came in. And that's really what I love about exercise, PT. Like, you're helping somebody improve and get better and just get to a different level in their life, or, from a setback, or just level up to another level in their life.
Yeah. Like functional, more functional exercise, and like being able to just like move rather than just like, pack on a bunch of crazy muscle.
For sure. I mean, everybody has different goals. But I tend to get, go towards people who just need to live better. What I mean? That's who I want to help. I want to help people get stronger so they can just live their life a little better, not be in pain, because that's one of those things we deal with just from the lives we live now. We sit a lot, we don't move a lot, and we have back pain, we have hip pain.
Gravity just pushing down on us all the time.
Getting old a little bit.
For sure.
You got to combat that a little bit with just moving your body a little bit more. And I'm just a conduit to helping people do that more in their life. And I want to be...
It's interesting to like follow your social media because, you are a more of a, from an outsider's point of view, from my point of view, I would consider you like a more functional trainer rather than like, you're not, I don't see people doing like a bunch of just like, deadlifts on a hex bar. You're more like mobility, like working out, like body weight, kettlebells type stuff.
For sure.
And it's weird because like, I feel like that, maybe in the past, like, I don't know, 8 or 9, 10 years, that's kind of been like more a direction that people were like, that's been more like mainstream. It's been becoming more mainstream, because before that, I feel it was like, all the, beefcake type shit where it's just like, get real muscled up. Do you notice that like in the past 10 years, it's that kind of like,
absolutely
fitness trajectory?
I just feel like that's where, fitness kind of started, or was really popular. Bodybuilding back in the, 80s and 90s, like that was just what it was about, even earlier than that. Bodybuilding was the mecca of like fitness, and that's what people did. And, and even with the competitive side of that, a lot of people go towards that, and I think that's cool, and that's
for sure.
It's a skill, you know what I mean. It takes a lot of dedication to be able to push your body to get to a certain point to grow your muscles to a certain point and like
and maintain that.
That shit's hard. I've never done that. It's never been an interest of mine.
That's what I was just going to ask. That was never like mass was never an interest for you.
Like I don't care how big I am. I'm not. I don't care about making my muscles a certain size, but I do care about how I look.
Yeah,
I want to look like I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I want to feel confident about about how I look at my clothes. You know what I mean? All that shit is important to me. But also at the end of the day, I understand that if I do this stuff regularly and if I help other people do this regularly, I know how good I feel. I can help other people feel good and just, be a healthy individual from doing these few things a couple times a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at fitness is like everything else. Like you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you should exercise too.
Necessary maintenance.
Exactly. So, and however everybody does that is different, but this is how I choose to be fit, and I just feel like it works for me. It works for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, whenever you're younger and you're growing up and you're like playing all these sports, like you played what, basketball, baseball, football?
I didn't play basketball. I was terrible at basketball. Tribe. I played baseball and football.
Baseball and football?
Yeah.
Now, did you ever have like injuries like that?
No, the funny thing is I've never gotten hurt. I've never had to go through the rehab process of like breaking a bone.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask. Like, have you ever had any like experiences as young doing that? Because, that's wild to think about. I even went through like, weird mobility shit with my knee.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, that type of like working out and that type of like, PT and like what people could do. Mm-hmm. And, even like how we were talking about even older people, like my neighbor across the street, he sadly just passed away yesterday, but he was dealing with some shit, had like a couple, strokes, but he was talking to me about his physical therapy. Mm-hmm. And like, that's just a whole different, that's not even necessarily like, more unhealthy. That's just like a different type of physical therapy that like, I didn't even really, it didn't even like dawn on me that that's like another avenue of it all.
Yeah.
Like people that have like,
like neurological things that happen to people, like it's just, definitely healthy people, things have happened to healthy people, and just like, you just automatically set back, and then you need some help getting, back on your feet. And like a stroke is crazy,
Yeah, crazy.
It's a crazy thing to deal with. So, I mean, sorry to hear about your neighbor, man.
He was an old man. He had a good life. He seemed to be, he was a great guy, but yeah, it was something that's just like, it was quick, happened quick. And like, he was talking about like, cause I was looking at his chart whenever I was over there talking to him, and like, it was just wild to see, all the stuff that they had him doing, like, and all the different like tools with just like, a kitchen towel, a little ball, stuff like that. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to like think about athletics, but you in your avenue on to where you are now, because you're a physical trainer now, you're on social media all the time, and I see you have an app, you have all these clients that you do personal training for. What was like your start out compared to like your growth to where you are now? Because we were just talking before we were recording, you had like a space at one point that it was like your studio space.
Yeah. So one of the clinics that I worked for, it's called the Physical Therapy Institute in Washington. Now they have a bunch of clinics all over the place, in Pennsylvania and other places. But I built a really good relationship with them, working for them earlier in my career. I left and then came back to work for them. And they happened to have this office space. It was really cool. It was all windows, and it wasn't being used for much. And I asked them if I could use it to like turn it into a personal training studio, and they said, go for it. I was really... it was really to help promote both, myself and with personal training, but also to create like a step beyond personal or physical therapy after somebody has finished the physical therapy process,
and they can continue their journey with you.
So it's like right down the hall, right? And I was just like, come down the hall after you've done your physical therapy, continue to get strong. So I just found it as a great segue to helping people get fit. Like if they've already been in the mindset of coming to a place day after day or a couple times a week to do exercise to help rehab an injury that usually their insurance is paying for. It's not a big investment for them, although it is one.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
They're in the mindset of like, let me get stronger. So I just saw that as a great opportunity to say, let's continue to get stronger, right? You're going to work out harder probably than you did in PT, but you're going to do more functional things, and you'll get stronger. Your life will get better in the ways that you that you need to, so that your life is easier. You don't continue to have the same pain, because a lot of people go to physical therapy and have to come back because they don't continue doing what they need to do outside of.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right. So,
It's like the Tin Man with the oil.
Exactly.
You got to moving.
You got to keep that oil going, exercise that oil, along with some other things, eating well, and staying consistent with those things.
What is, now, whenever you like first opened that space right there, was that like your first like dive into like, training?
Not training, but, I guess my first solo endeavor of like starting a business and like doing something in a space. I didn't have like the traditional setup where I had to rent the space. They like helped. They let me use it. They, threw them some money whenever I made money, and they weren't real hard. So like, I got to give them a lot of love for letting me try to like get my feet wet with that, and then let me mess it up.
Trying it up.
Yeah. So I had a good like year and a half, I think, around that time to like get some stuff wrong and like figure out what I wanted to do. But that made me change directions too. Like I stopped doing that. I continued to work in physical therapy for a bit longer, and then I stopped that and then went to work for a gym a little bit in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Yeah. So I made some different changes. I bounced around a bit, me just kind of figuring out life and what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to be personal training full time as my job, as my trade. So that was a step towards that, which eventually did get me there. But
now you work by yourself now. This is like your business now, but what was your, like what's the benefits of you doing this to yourself rather than like, working at a gym? Like how do you, like starting out as a trainer, like how do you acquire like customers? If you're someone that's brand new, you just started out, like, obviously you look healthy, you look fit, but besides that, like how do you come off as someone who's educated, who is like really someone that's not like pushing some bullshit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause it's easy now because, everything is saturated. Everyone got an account. Anyone could just get an account. How did you go about acquiring people?
It's a good question. That a lot of trial and error. I say one of the biggest things is being willing to talk to people, and being personable and just being approachable. Not being overly pushy about what in certain situations. Meaning, like, don't try to be a know-it-all. There's a lot of things that I know, but I understand there's a lot of things I can learn. So I always kept that mindset. Whenever I was helping people or wanting to help people, is not to be too aggressive coming at people. But I'd say as far as acquiring clients, it was helpful for me to have worked in physical therapy for some time and like have that knowledge, because I knew how to talk to people. I had bedside manner from working at a clinic. So dealing with people was really easy, or like convincing people to do something that was physically hard, but knowing that it was going to be good for them. Convincing people was a skill that you learn how to do in physical therapy that, most trainers might not know how to do or know how to communicate to their clients, or, that's a whole skill in itself beyond exercising that you need to know how to do, is talk to someone before you even start exercising with them. Is like, do they trust you? Do they trust you enough to, like you said, are you selling me bullshit, or are you, telling me the right thing? So, I think it's just learning how to have a conversation with someone, learning who they are, and then like saying, all right, well, this is what I know how to do, and I feel like this would help you. You know what I mean? And this is how, showing them how it would help them, and then like letting them feel it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then like, oh, okay, understand this, and it makes sense. So that's literally how I've gotten a lot of my clients, is just saying, I think this is how I can help you. Let me show you how. This is my experience. And that really is just like the natural progress, or,
that's so interesting to like think about what you just said as far as like you're having bedside manner just like in your previous jobs, because if you're if you're doing PT with people, obviously the people that you're working with are people that might not necessarily want to be there. Right. So you communicating it to them in a way that makes them want to do this to better themselves is a certain way to dance about that subject. But, if you have your own business as a trainer, people are coming to you because they want to work.
Absolutely.
So, you having that option, or not that option, but that tool to be able to communicate with a more, receptive audience, right. That's probably a way better environment to try to do what you want to do and get off what you want to get off.
For sure. No doubt. I mean, now, when I'm trying to find clients to keep myself, busy in my business, not busy, but like, keeping a steady stream of new leads coming in, or like
keeping it growing,
finding new people to help. creating a message around making your life easier to deal with versus making, working as hard as you can, whenever you can, working 24/7. I work with a bunch of professionals, adults, business owners who have families, don't have a lot of time to spend a lot of time in the gym, even if they love to. So they need to find a way to get fit, productively, and do something that is going to work for them. So that's really what I preach to people is like, we're going to spend 45 minutes doing specific movements that we're going to help you stay strong for your life for whatever you need to do. It's like short and long of what I explain to people we're going to be doing. And I try to make it fun while we're in front of them, and then, like I said, make it specific to what they need to do. If somebody works a physical job, I'm going to make them do things that relate to their job, and they're going to be picking shit up that, that might mimic what they do at work, so that, it's specifically getting them strong for that. And that's where the functionality of, functional training comes in. It looks like what they're doing in their real life. We're not going to be bodybuilding because you're not a bodybuilder. You're not going to go. Yeah, if you're working at a carpenters union, you're lifting stuff up. You're going to be doing movements in that way that's going to kind of replicate what you're doing every day. I got off topic a little bit about where I was going, but that's all right. This is a very tangential podcast, but I think it's good though. What topic did you want to circle back to? Well, I guess just talking about how I go about finding people that I want to work with now at this point. Because you do a lot of work on social media. Like your social media, you have to be just like grinding on it all the time because you're constantly putting out content. And that's like something that I definitely notice because I fucking loathe my phone. Yeah. I hate creating stuff on there. I just feel like it's I know it's necessary evil and it's stuff that I have to do, but it's such like a mentally draining thing for me, but you do so well at it. You do a good job, and I know it takes a lot of time. I appreciate that, man. It's funny. I was talking about being creative before. Like, I don't draw pictures that much now. I don't paint that much, but like, I feel like social media is almost like my canvas, and it's a double-edged sword of me being creative and then me being able to promote myself and my business and like showing people this is something that I do every single day in my life, just about. And there's definitely, I do post a lot and I realize that, but it is really just to kind of show the consistency of what happens. It's not like I go to the gym a couple times a week, even if that was the case, you know what I mean? This is in my life and I'm just making it part of my life. I help other people do that. So I like to show that, and it's just a fun way for me to do that and be creative with the videos and like, the music part of it, I'm 38, you know what I mean? So like I grew up in the 90s, so the 90s hip hop. Yeah, all the good stuff. I love playing that and putting that to, you know what I mean, and kind of like making that mesh together. So that's fun for me. Like it's really cool to think about that. Is like your creative outlet is like, it is fun whenever I want to create something on here. It's like, I have fun like diving into like trying to make a reel. Yeah. But it's just like, it almost takes away the fun for me whenever I feel like if I'm not putting stuff out every day or every other day, I get like crazy anxiety about it. But that's just like the way you got to be with your business. Obviously my shit is a little bit different than yours. Like I'm not obligated to really put this out as much, but for someone that's trying to acquire like a clientele and like build your book, people want to see that. People don't want to see that you're one day a week, or one day a month, you're posting someone doing a workout. You're literally posting all different people all day, every day. Yeah. It's just like, this is literally my life. I mean, I don't say my job is my life, but my work is a lot of what my life is. I spend my time a lot of with my clients, and I like to showcase my clients progressing, working hard. That's one thing that I found that has helped motivate people is, I put a lot of people out there on social media, but shout out Dave and Noya. No doubt. Him and Amy, their baby, man, they get it. I really appreciate them letting me post, my clients let me post them because it helps me promote my business, but it also shows them being strong and just strong individuals from all different walks of life. And I love that looks, I have such an eclectic group of people that I train, but I'm helping them all do kind of the same thing. Right? Yeah. And I'm all cool with all those people now. You know what I mean? Well, it's impressive because it's like, for people that don't know, Dave Anoya he's the owner of Anoya's in down in the city. And like, that's a restaurant that's like, he's busy as shit all the time. That dude's making no excuses. Like he's in there and he's getting it done. He's that family's a perfect example of that because they do. I don't think you met Amy, but
I haven't got to meet her yet. I'm actually going on Friday, so I'm excited.
Go get some good food. I need to go back myself, but like I know they're busy all the time. You know what I mean? And having just a family makes you busy in itself, and then running a big business like that and being successful on top of that, it takes a lot. And the fact that they take time to fit that into their life, and they're consistent with it too. You know what I mean? They're making sure that they're healthy. They're staying healthy for their babies, you know, for their business, for themselves. And it's also a great way for them to connect with one another too. So we knock a lot of birds, you know, out with a little bit of exercise a couple of times a week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I love that happens for them. That's kind of what I want to promote for everybody. It's like, make it just a little bit of time for it. You know, no matter how busy you are.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's worth it. It is. You get better from it.
Dude, I'm a perfect example. It's like, you know, last year I just, you know, didn't do shit for a year. You know, before that I was in the gym for a little bit, but then I was just like, you know, typical shit with, I'm like, you know, new year, I got to get it. I just got to get in there. And I've been the most consistent I've ever been in my life. You know, I haven't missed more than a day.
That's awesome.
You know, just go there and it's like, I think it goes back to like, you know, you just have to be ready to do it yourself, because like, you know, whenever I am obligated to do it, it's like, it's a pain in the ass to go to the gym, like, you know, at some points. But now it's just like, I'm to the point in my mind where I like going, and I want to go there. I feel better. We're going to go after this. And it's just like, it's been making me feel a lot better. And I don't know if it's necessarily me just getting a little bit older, or being more in touch with like mortality and like seeing, you know, our parents getting older and stuff like that. Yeah. But, it's just wild to think about that. It's like, I feel like the younger generation is like becoming more in tune with like what is good, whether it be physical health, mental health,
for sure,
spiritually.
Man, I wasn't thinking about mental health when I was in high school.
Not at all.
College, and I know like that's a huge thing now with social media. Now that's
crazy.
You know, I think that's a great thing that people are thinking about these things in their lives. And right, I mean, that's a great point to make, is that people are getting started with that earlier in their life, and that's just testament to, you know.
It got to be social media.
Right. Yeah, I mean, social media for sure.
Got to be social media.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, for us, it's like I got a cell phone whenever I was 17. So like I was probably like the last age, you know, of, you know, before people started regularly getting cell phones. But once that shit happens, kids now are seeing all different things. Yeah. You just have anything you need right there. So, you know, you can go on your page and just look at any of these videos and, you know, kind of get an idea of like what you want to start trying to do, and like just try to how to start to move. And now in the gym, I see like younger kids in there, and I see like, you know, 2 younger kids like going at it, and like I see people like filming themselves, like trying to like, you know, get their techniques down and everything. And like it's cool to see that people are, you know, more after it. And
absolutely, I love seeing it. It's funny, people make a lot of jokes about people being in the gym the first couple months of the year, you know what I mean, like the newbies and all that. And I'm like, I love it. I love seeing people trying to take on something new, or like get back after something they've, you know, put down. Yeah. After a while, they just get back after it. Hopefully that time they stick with it for a little longer. But you know, that's what my job is, or what I make my job in my life, is to help people just like make that a priority in their life.
Consistent.
No doubt.
That's it's interesting. Now for your like you said, you're 38. You know, you didn't. I'm sure you had like MySpace and shit like that, Facebook, but like, you know, technology is like, you know, it's taken off, and it's definitely moving quicker than any of us are. Yeah. So for you to like try to, you know, get that learning curve of like social media and like making reels and doing all this, like, was that something that came kind of easy to you?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean,
they make it as easy as they can.
For sure. I mean, I was, I'm trying to, I don't know, like, I think just constantly playing with it and like, seeing how it worked helped me figure out Instagram a little bit. I mean, I'm not like Instagram famous, but I know how to make a reel. You know? But I'm trying, you know, I have it down to a science where I can make a video real quick. It doesn't take me more than like 15, 20 minutes.
And you're just doing it on your phone?
And I just do it on my phone.
That's what I'm saying. You don't even have to have a camera no more.
Trap it on my iPhone. That's what I love about it. Like, you can maybe have a tripod, but
whole business on your phone.
Yeah. I mean,
that's dope.
I do the app that you mentioned, the Train With Dorian app, you can download that from Apple, from Google.
Did you make that app?
So yeah, I had some help developing it. And
Like how, like before we even get into like how crazy this app was, I'm curious to know. It's like when did this idea of you wanting to be someone rather than having a location or like a brick or mortar or being at a gym or something? When did that idea kind of dissolve to where you wanted to be like a on location, travel to you type of trainer, and kind of talk to me about like, your motive behind that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's something that I can back up now to like where I first started training. One of my very first training jobs was with a home training company in Pittsburgh where that's what their business was to go to training. So like I learned the game there of how that worked, being in people's homes and like helping them exercise and bringing their tools.
Now, did you like that?
No. I mean, I liked it in the sense of like I was doing something different and it was towards what I was trying to get to personal training wise. But I mean, I had to drive a lot. I still drive now, but I work for myself. So I can call it shots, but I didn't have a good dial in of like where my clients were. I was driving all over the place. I was driving from like Churchill and then to driving downtown and driving out to like North Hills. And then
so it's just all different areas.
Yeah. And I didn't have I was just kind of taking people as I could just to like stay busy. And
I mean, if you're starting out, you just got to get what you can get.
Just got to do what you got to do. And I was doing that for a while and I didn't love it, but I loved exercise and I love dealing with people or working with people. So
did you have any negative experiences? Like obviously now, Dave, Amy, it's not weird going to their house or nothing, but like, whenever you're working for someone else and you're going to different places, I'm sure it's like, I don't know, shit's crazy now. I mean, like, did you get like weirded out? You're like, all right, I'm going into these people's houses. Like any weird shit ever happen to you?
I mean, nothing crazy. There was probably one moment. There was a lady I was training and she just like kept calling attention to her feet for some reason. And I was like, it was strange to me. I was like, she never had shoes on, which wasn't a big deal because people train barefoot all the time.
Yeah.
Like, she just would make like comments and I was just like, I mean, yeah, you don't have any shoes on. I get it. Like, you know what I mean? But then I was just like, all right. So she had some other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
all right, that's it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. But that was about it. Yeah.
That's funny. Now for you to, develop that and like you said, you wanted to, be in people's homes and you like that. Now the app comes into play, like how do you kind of jump into that world? Because I feel like that it could be, good and bad. It's kind of you could be like big fish in a small pond, just using another app that's already built and just putting yourself on there and letting people sign up through that. Right. But for you to build your own, it's a beast to kind of go through all that.
It was a combination of two because like...
Come up on that mic, please.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's a combination of both of those, like, because there are programs that you can, plug yourself into and develop, like they have the program developed for you.
Yeah.
And you just like put some exercises in it and send to people, which is a great tool for a lot of people. But I want it to be a little more personalized and just kind of like more professional, and just to kind of continue or building my brand, the Quality Reps Only brand, Train With Dorian, and having a branded app of my own it just seemed like the next step to make if I wasn't going to jump into a physical space at this time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to scale myself, and this was, I guess, the best way that I saw doing that as an online trainer, being able to touch people across, the United States or the world.
Yeah, then not just here. It's like anyone could download this app.
Right. Yeah. So, I love it so far. I had a small group of people sign up for it for the first month of January. So just kind of like on a rolling basis, I take new people on for it. But I mean, this is coaching like I am in front of you. Like you talk to me whenever you message me through it. I'm programming the workouts for you and making modifications for you based on what your skill level is. I try to help a certain demographic of people who are generally healthy already, but I can help people who aren't healthy or just like needing a little more help. So I can personalize it, which is nice. I like being able to have some personal communication rather than saying, hey, do these exercises. I don't talk to you again for the next 3 or 4 months. I want to talk to you every few, couple of days, every other week if possible, just to see how you're doing, see if you're dialed in. Keeping you dialed in is what keeps people consistent for longer periods of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you can do that without me after a while, if that app helps you set you up to be a healthier individual and move more often and eat healthier and kind of track all the things you're doing, you learn a lot of good habits over, some time. Or if you want to work with me for a long period of time, you have that, option too. And I love working with people for years and like just helping them. I have clients that I've trained for 10 years that I still work with to this day. And I love that. I'm not trying to train everybody in the world, but I love developing relationships and
quantity over quality over quantity.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Quality reps
absolutely.
only, for sure.
Yeah, quality reps
That's
only.
where that comes from. I mean, moving well, but also having quality of life, quality of
Anything really.
State of mind. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just exercise is a conduit for all that stuff. You know what I mean? Just it can take you a lot of places, and tie some of that into that.
In my later years, it's like I have no time for just like tomfoolery. I got no time for it.
tomfoolery.
I'm not even kidding, dude. Like I just am so conscious of like any of my free time, any of like
It's all valuable, man.
anything. I've always kind of been on like the tip from the beginning. Like I've always never been afraid to just say no to dude and stuff. Like I never really drank, so my friends would be at bars. Nah.
Yep.
And people would be like, "You're a fucking Debbie Downer," and I'm just like, I was kind of hip to saying no before it was a cool thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just like being older. I'm like, I have little free time. I don't want to waste it. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
It's good that you know how to do that and say no to things, because
you got to.
You have to be able to say no to a lot of things.
Got to. I was just talking about it with another person that listens to the podcast. She was telling me that like, she runs an ice cream business. It's called Thick Scoop. She does a gluten-free ice cream, and like she does these like shock drops where it's like 100 pints of ice cream and they're sold out in a minute on like this app. Crazy shit.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, like boutique ice cream.
Okay.
But she was telling me, on her post, she was like, I can only fulfill one pickup time for my own mental health. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like I messaged her. I was like, I'm glad to see you do it, because it's like, oftentimes like business people, whether they're just like, a lot of people, it's just starting out. It's like the people that are just starting out in business are kind of just like, I'll take whatever I could get. Like you were saying, driving all over.
Yep.
If you're just in this place, like me doing this podcast, whenever I just started out, just anything I could get, just trying to make shit happen. But once it's like, stuff is established, you have to be able to like, compartmentalize what's important, and you have to just like keep your own mental health at the forefront of your mind, because if you're living like shit, everything else, it's wherever the head goes, the body will follow.
Absolutely.
100%.
It's you learning how to condense those things and just make things more make sense for you in your life is just a necessary. I say evil, but it's not evil at all, because it's just like making your life better, and like you realizing what's valuable.
Yeah, what's valuable. I mean, you got this, and on top of all the stuff that we're talking about, you have 2 children.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a whole nother slice of your time that goes to them. And it's like, it's crazy to think about that. But that's one of the reasons that I always like want to like talk to people and like hear about this, because everyone's just out there like kind of grinding with it. But to circle back to what we were talking about right before this, I'm curious, what was the process of you creating an app?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, there were a few options I was looking at to creating an app. I went down the one path of it's called Trainerize. Is like you get on it and just basically plug all your stuff and like your exercises into it, or they have like a process that you can just deliver exercises to people. You have to put your own programming into it.
Yeah.
But the process of me building this app was working with a company called FitBud, and what they did was like basically just a blank slate of an application, and you just plug all your shit into it,
Like a template.
yeah. They gave you a template basically, which is nice, because like I don't know how to build an app, you know what I mean? And these smart people know how to kind of understand exercise and like understand what tools you might need or what variations. But from that took about 3 months, and just kind of broke down my programming that I wanted to build out for the masses of people that I wanted to help, and then different variations of programming. Filmed the exercises. I filmed like 400 different exercises to help plug into this thing.
Wow.
And then just organized all that stuff, and then describing everything. And
Was that like now? I mean, like I feel like you kind of undersell it as not being that difficult. Was that a big
it was
a learning curve?
It was definitely a learning curve, because I mean, like I'm not a technical or like a techie dude whatsoever, but I built my own website through Wix, right? It's another template website, but it was something that I spent a lot of time on and took a lot of care of. And it was one of those things. It was like, I knew it was my business card, so I knew I wanted to take time, but I also learned a lot how to like use a website or like plug things into a website, and for like a business standpoint, like how to promote myself through a website and SEO and all that stuff. I mean, I'm not a whiz whatsoever, but I understand those words and kind of like how they work. So just a learning situation that I went through.
It's always interesting what you can finesse whenever it's just you and you got to try it out yourself. Like I built my website and it was just like hectic for like 2 weeks of me just like trying to figure shit out.
I don't have any money for anybody to build a website.
That's what I'm saying.
So I was just like,
what am I doing? I got to pay someone $1,000 to build this right now.
No.
I was like, I'll sit here. It would have been way easier, but now we kind of know the ropes a little bit. And that's why, like, I've always been very comfortable with slow and steady. You know what I mean? I've always been comfortable with that. Like with this podcast, like even from the beginning, I was like, it's going to be real easy for me to let this thing, for me to not be as consistent, just because in the first like year, you don't have people listening. I'm doing all this work, putting out episodes with 15 listens. That's just, it's easy to let it dissolve from that. But after shit starts picking up, it's like you learn it and you start being able to apply these tools that you learn through all these, like, not necessarily great times to the great times. Whenever you're in like the times that you want to be in, now you know this shit and you can keep the ball rolling like that.
For sure. It's nice to look back and to kind of see what you learned and kind of what you figured out and made your way through and figured out, and, just makes you appreciate the process a little bit more. For sure. And then it makes you look forward to more growth too. So, it's cool to see, just knowing you personally, seeing you grow, this whole slow and steady thing. That's kind of been my thing too. I never wanted to be like, I don't say famous, but like, just like I wanted to train everybody in the world. I knew I wanted to help a small group of people at some point, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of picking and choosing who I'm helping based on like a few criteria, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I feel like I can help you. If I know that I can help you, cool.
You curate your own customer base.
Exactly.
You got a crazy ass person. I'm sure you know that it's a crazy ass person. Just like,
for sure.
Same thing with this. Same thing with my wife does wedding makeup. It's the same thing. You could read people.
For sure.
That's what it is. But that's also a benefit of the app. It's like kind of keeps that, that level of
There's
shit.
some distance, but I mean, we have some, there's some still, we still communicate, but I mean, it's for that reason too, but also, it's just part of the game of working with people and like different personalities. That's also the fun part of this job too, is like you work with a bunch of crazy people, crazy in the great sense too, Gotta
be wild. Now for you to, kind of curate everyone's workouts to their like, body type structure. It's like whenever you're approaching someone who is interested in working with you, do you like have like a questionnaire of like, goals, things that they want to do? Like how do you kind of determine what they want out of your services?
So if you sign up for the app, or when you download the app, that's one of the first things that happens is it gives you like a 15 question questionnaire. Ask you kind of what your habits are already, what you want to achieve, how interested you are in like putting your effort into this, So, there is a little bit of a questionnaire that happens. And then from there, what I do is reach out to you and go, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about you, ask more specific questions based on what they filled out. So there's a bit of a vetting process of, before we work together, I just want to make sure that we are a good fit. And,
for sure.
But, that's typically how I take it. A lot of my business is word of mouth referrals. So my clients know other people that are like them that kind of like, they almost like do my job for me, marketing.
That's that filter.
Right. Like they know kind of who you are already, kind of like, I know this person will work well with this person. Let me plug you in with them if they need help. So that's been very helpful for working with the right kind of client for me,
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. Now, have you been successful with like kind of gaining some customer bases just out of the state?
No, actually, everybody that I work with is in Pennsylvania. Yeah, so I haven't really expanded my reach beyond the state, which is a goal of mine.
Yeah, like how would you even approach that as someone like you? Like for you to like not be in that area because like I said, I was getting into the gym, and it's just like if you look at one thing on your Instagram, automatically your explore page just is flooded with shit. So I just come across these profiles, and there's all these people that like, do whether it be like, logo design, anything like that. But you being a trainer, it's like a lot of the time people want to be in person. It's like, how do you go about approaching, acquiring customer base out of the state. Like,
Yeah.
is there a way to, like, do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess I'm not looking for a specific reach. I do realize that, there's plenty of people in my local area that I can help.
For sure.
That's kind of where I focus the effort when there's marketing involved.
Yeah.
But if I created a reach beyond state lines that was able to connect with, that would be awesome. But it's just not a focus for me right now because
that makes sense.
It's not necessary. I think, like you said, the slow and steady progression to just building a business, I feel like that'll happen at some point where my name will grow and help clients further away from this local area. But it's not a focused effort of mine to try to go across state lines and I'm not specifically looking for that.
Yeah. And that, and I asked that just for the fact that, like, I've had people ask me, like, do you ever have any intention of, like, talking to people just not from the city?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like, I would love to, but it's like, it's not as easy. I have a network here, a spider web here. Right. A lot of my people are word of mouth as well, but I reach out to people, but I ask that just as, like, another person that's, like, a creator trying to, like, pretty much source out other people that I could expand this with.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Like you said, it's like I have more than enough people to talk to in the city, but it's always interesting to hear, like, your thoughts about, like, how that would even be. But I'm kind of the same way, where it's like I feel like I haven't even been able to, like, scratch the surface of all the people around here. So it's like, not really, like, focusing to, like, go out of the state or anything, but it's definitely something I think about.
No. I think it's a great point. I see where you're going with that. I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm one person, and personally for me, I don't really care who I help. So if they come from across the country, across the world,
yeah.
But if they connect with me, you know what I mean, and I connect with them, then great. I'd love to help you. That's kind of how I look at trying to find a client, the ideal client. Wherever you are is wherever you are. And if our energies align, if our kind of our attitudes align, then I think I could probably help you out, and we could
figure something out.
Figure something out, right?
Now, for you two, like we were talking about, we talked about it a couple times. You go to people's houses and you mainly train there, but it's like, is there anything that that you miss about, like, having a space as far as, like, being able, like, to have equipment? Like, are you limited with the amount of things that you could do with what the people might have at their house and what you could bring?
Yeah. That's kind of the beauty of it too, is, a lot of my clients do have their own gyms in their houses, or just have some fitness equipment. If not, I'll bring some with me. I have a few key items, like some dumbbells, kettlebells, and resistance bands that we can get busy with. And that's another thing that I promote too, is just, you don't need a lot of stuff. You don't need a gym full of equipment to train the way that I train. So if you don't have it, it's cool. I just bring it with me if I come to you. But if you do, it's just more tools for us to use, and different variations of exercises and things that I can put you through, right? So I've trained people in their living rooms with two pairs of dumbbells and a medicine ball, and help them get.
And you bust their ass.
Like, just get after it. That's another thing about being creative and, like, working in physical therapy, is, like, learn how to be creative with different tools. And, like, you're in people's homes sometimes. I've done that, done physical therapy in people's homes too. Is like, you might not have everything you need, so, like, you got to figure out whatever you got to figure out to help people.
Use a chair, use whatever. Yeah, that's interesting.
So, like, it's easy for me now. I can just kind of cook up a workout in my head, and you know what I mean, and help or make some changes in somebody's workout. So
now, as far as have you always been someone who is? I always see, like, you spend just as much time on how good of, how do I want to say it? You spend enough time, talking about how the quality of the food you eat is a big proponent in your life as well. And, on your social media, you always post, like, a fire ass looking meal. It's like, were you always someone that, like, ate healthy and, like, had that, like, in your mind?
To some degree, yeah.
Were you a picky eater?
No, not really. I mean, I remember in high school and playing football. I just ate whatever. Just that wasn't on my mind then. I was trying to.
Yeah, you're just a young kid. It's just burning off you.
Yeah, I ate so many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in high school. Like, I'm surprised I still eat them now. But I think it was always on my mind to be conscious of health, of what I was eating in my body. I think at some point, young, probably when I was a teenager, I just realized that I didn't want to. I didn't want to have an unhealthy looking body. I didn't want to be just a person who didn't look like they took care of themselves. For some reason, that was in my head.
Yeah.
Like, it just turned on for me one day, and it just never turned off. And it's just, I'm glad that happened to me. I really can't even call the specific thing or the moment that happened. I think, playing sports, wanting to be strong and like athletic, just to be productive at sports, it was definitely a big catalyst to that. But beyond that, I didn't want to stop working out after I stopped playing sports. It became almost my sports that I played afterwards.
Like how to keep it going.
Yeah.
What about family? Like, was health and wellness like a focus in your family?
It wasn't. No. No, it wasn't. I mean, we had some of the typical, African American foods in our house. Like we fried chicken a lot, fried foods a lot. I mean, meals were fire, but they just weren't health focused.
Yeah.
So no fault of my parents for that, but it just made me realize that I knew that those things weren't healthy, and I started learning different things about disease and like
for sure
those kinds of foods cause disease. I knew that I didn't want that to happen to me. So just realizing and learning kind of like firsthand, like, okay, I don't want to be eating this, but I can maybe like eat some different things. I became like the healthy person in my family, where I was the one like eating fruit, vegetables all the time. So I like that for one sense, that I was like I was promoting health to my family. But it was kind of hard to do at the same time with, making decisions for yourself about what you want to eat, because like if you're a teenager, you're not buying your own food.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was never, I mean, I didn't care about it that much, but I was conscious of what I was eating.
Yeah.
I was making sure that I was eating fruit and vegetables, and I wanted to eat protein all the time. You know what I mean? So.
It's interesting to think about, like, parents, like I'm sure your parents are pretty close to my parents' age. My dad's, 65, whatever, but it's like when they grew up, it was a weird, time where marketing kind of, that was like whenever marketing was like pushing all this like weird, like fake, different type of shit where, it was kind of sideways. And obviously now things are coming to light and people are more educated on what it is.
For sure. I mean, another thing about social media is just, there's so much more information. You can learn from so many more people now. And
for sure,
there's different variations of how to eat, to the most minute detail, about different kind of diets out there. But, it's just there's a lot out there about nutrition, a lot more than there was whenever I was young, or at least that I knew about whenever I was a teenager. And
what's your focus now as far as like nutrition?
I try to keep things super simple for myself. I try to make sure that I'm eating the same kind of meals day in and day out. I teach the same thing to my clients. You should be eating simple meals that comprise of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. You know what I mean? That's what you're thinking about whenever you're putting in food on your plate. So prioritizing protein so that your body is recovering, and also, building muscle and keeping your metabolism high, and the carbohydrates and fat for your fuel. You know what I mean? It's thinking about food just in the simple senses, just like that, and then eating the appropriate portions.
Yeah.
Is
my biggest problem.
Right? Yeah. It's just putting too much food in your mouth, and it's a lot of people's problems. It's like, just changing that and getting out of the mindset of like finishing a plate, or just like putting too much food on your plate. It's a skill to like learn how to take some food off your plate and like, just eat a little bit less, but also just kind of rearranging how what food you're eating to satiate yourself a little better, and like you can eat a little less food. So it is something that you have to work at, and that's where a coach comes in to help you with those things. Is like, try this instead of that, and like that keeps you dialed in and like just focused on the right thing, so you don't get in your head like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna finish this whole thing, or like whatever the situation is for yourself. You know what I mean? People have different things that they struggle with when it comes to nutrition. And it's just being a little more dialed in about what you're doing versus being focused about what you're doing, and just knowing what you're currently doing, and then making small changes to that. And usually people can figure it out and get in a little more alignment of eating in a healthier way by just making smaller changes, eating a little less of something, eating a little more of something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this big, like,
complicated thing.
I'm on a diet now for the rest of my life, because nobody ever does that. You know what I mean? If you can just make some small changes and try to stay with that for a little bit, and then along the way make some more narrow changes or more specific changes if you want.
Yeah.
If you want to get it more dialed in, great.
Could do that too.
I just try to teach people some basic things in eating. Because I'm not a nutritionist, and I tell people that all the time. I refer people to nutritionists if they need more specific help. But like, there's certain few things that you just need to do as a human being to sustain your energy, to be able to get through a workout, get through your day, and just have some mental clarity. You know what I mean? And doing those few things usually helps you with that.
It's interesting. Now, talking about mental clarity, what do you do, aside from all this physical work and everything, like, what do you do for your mental? It's like, what do you do to keep your mental just as, on top as your physical?
It's spending time in solitude. It sounds crazy to say, but just quiet
crazy.
Space. Not
Are you meditated?
Not crazy, but like, yeah, I love to meditate.
I know you do some yoga.
For sure. I'm in the yoga studio a lot. I have a bunch of yogi friends, but I love yoga, but I do the meditation thing is big for me. I probably need to do more of it.
What's your process? Like, are you just sitting in your living room meditating?
Yeah.
How long?
I don't put a time on it. Sometimes it'll just be about 5 minutes. Sometimes, I'll sit there for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Some days I'm a little more consistent with it, like in days, but like periods of time I'm more consistent with it. So it kind of flows. And what I've learned about meditation is like, it's not just about sitting down and like being quiet all the time. It's like learning how to be in a meditative state whenever you get anxious or stressed out, or in like just bringing yourself back to
center,
right? That homeostasis, and just like being able to like zero back in, and, practicing that on a regular basis helps strengthen that skill, like anything else that you practice over time. And it doesn't take a lot, but just learning how to sit still for 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Even if it's 2 minutes.
Does a lot for you.
It does so much for you. It just let some things process and run through your head. And I can't talk enough about that. Just the benefit of finding some mental clarity through stillness and
putting all your shit down and being present for a few minutes.
That's right.
We've been hitting the sauna pretty regularly, like a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going there for 40 minutes at like 160 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you don't have your phone or nothing. And we're both just sitting in there just talking, whether it's like, talking about our business plan or something like that. But it's like, sometimes we don't talk at all. And it's just, we're just in there just trying to, get our shit sorted out in our head. Have you ever done a sensory deprivation tank?
No, but I want to. I was actually on my plan to do one of those things this month. I got a free not certification, but gift card to go to one of those places. So I want to check one of those out.
You should.
Where do you have a recommendation of where I should go?
I went to Levity. Levity is over in Squirrel Hill.
Yeah.
Dave over there, he runs that. They got a good thing going on over there. Okay. I've been there a few times. I haven't been any other places, but I don't know. It's dope.
Yeah.
The tank is different. If you've tried meditation a little bit, like I'm sure you would be like more, it would be easier for you to like get some of the help that you can, but like for someone to just like, the first time I went in there, I felt like I was already like kind of more prepared than 90% of the people, just by how much I've heard about it and listened to Rogan talk about it for a decade and all these people. But, I kind of knew what I was going to get whenever I went in there. But even though it's your first time, whether you prepare for it or not, it's almost like overwhelming, the stillness, the quiet, the complete dark. It's very overwhelming. And like, the whole time it almost like would get anxiety because of like, I don't know why it was, but the second time was a little bit better. And then the third time it's like, I swear I was in there for like, I think 90 minutes and it felt like 5.
Yeah.
It's like you're in there and I don't know. It felt like the way that I described it was, it feels like a little kid's room that's just, a pigsty whenever you first go in there. And like, once you get in that tank, it gives you a second to like, all these toys and shit that's on the ground are all different problems that you got in your day. Yeah. And that gives you a time for you to go and just like organize your room, throw out the shit you want to throw out, put everything back how you want to put it back. And
I love that analogy.
It's just like, and plus all the benefits of like the Epsom salts and everything in there. It's like you feel great after it.
Yeah.
But you should try that out for sure.
I'm glad you said it because I've been putting it off just for time. You know what I mean? I need to just make an appointment, but
you do got to go a couple times.
Okay.
I urge you to try it a second time. If it's weird the first time, you might fall asleep. Cause the first time I was like, don't fall asleep. It's hard not to.
Well, so funny enough is like when I learned how to meditate, that's one of the things that I learned is just, you might fall asleep in the middle of that and that's okay. Just kind of letting your mind go to the point where it kind of just does what it does. Like if you're thinking about things, you're letting those thoughts pass.
Yeah.
You're not trying to hold on to anything. And sometimes that just, your body just wants to rest. So,
Yeah.
it's cool to kind of just let your mind and body do what it needs to do to kind of release and relax.
Absolutely. No doubt. If you sleep in that tank, you're going to feel great.
Oh, sure.
But, there ain't no light, no sound.
Nah.
And then you just get woken up to a little and the lights start to go on. You're just like, and then they have this crazy shower with like a 24-inch diameter shower head. And it's like you feel like, you're reborn.
It's a new man after that.
Yeah, it's definitely wild. I mean, I don't know. Do you think there's anything we didn't talk about with as far as fitness or anything? Anything that you don't want to touch on? I know it's a lot of pressure to just ask you that.
Nah, I mean, I don't have a message that I want yell out there.
Well, we're not done yet. Don't give any messages yet.
Cool. All right. No, no. Fitness wise, no. Yeah, I think you touched on everything that what I do. It's pretty simple, man. I mean, I can talk about exercising and why it's good for you all day long, but the point is that we need to be active as human beings, and we need to do that for many different reasons. And the biggest reason I feel like is like you feel better at the end of the day.
Yeah.
People struggle with so many different things, whether it's physical or mental things. And one of the biggest things that are overlooked is just getting up and moving your body. And it can literally change your mood. It can change your health.
For sure.
It will change your health, So, I found the thing in my life that I want to promote for the rest of my life that I know is good, and it makes me feel good that I'm doing it. It gives me a purpose in life, and I just, when you feel like you're doing the right thing and you're just in the right place.
Yeah.
Me doing this makes me feel like that, and
Well, that's great.
and I love that I feel like that about what I do. So I plan to do this as long as I can and help as many people as I can in the meantime. And
What about your kids? You being a dad to kind of work this into their life and not necessarily be like a drill sergeant, but like, do it the right way rather than just telling them, but like wanting them to follow a healthier lifestyle and that. How do you kind of instill that on? How old are your kids?
So my daughter's 9, my son is 5. So they're Veda and Nolan. They're awesome. So I don't tell them to exercise. From my daughter, who's my oldest, she's seen me exercise since she was a baby. So like, took her on walks all the time, and like we'd be doing push-ups and sit-ups, and
that's what I mean. I always see it on your Instagram. Like they're always just like doing something.
It's just made it like playtime. You know what I mean? And I understood what I was doing at the time when I was doing it. It was intentional for sure, just to make like playtime intentional and like teaching them how to move and things like that. My daughter loves it much more than my son does, but I just like putting it in their face, like, and making it part of my life, because they're going to understand that this is what should be a part of their life. So it's just one little skill I'm teaching them, just kind of subconsciously, I would say, because I'm not doing it on purpose, but I am, I want
for
them
sure.
to see that you should
Dad's
be doing this
taking
stuff.
time to, this is his part of his life. He sees this every day.
Yeah.
Like this is what he does. And that's a good point. It kind of subconsciously works it into their, into their psyche.
And my daughter, she pulls me into like little push-up competitions all the time. She wants to do handstands. You know what I mean? She's stronger than, she did 50 push-ups the other day. And I was just like, oh, you really did those? And I was like, you're stronger than I thought you were. But like, that was all on her own. I didn't tell her to go do push-ups. She just decided to like get down. So it's cool to me that, my daughter's strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to teach her a level of physical strength and like just toughness that I want her to have. But, it's also healthy for her too. So I love all that.
Yeah, it's great. Absolutely great. Fascinating what you do, for sure. It's cool to hear about it now, knowing you and like seeing, obviously your business online, but like kind of how you got there.
Yeah.
I never knew of it before, but
thanks for asking. I appreciate the attention.
Absolutely. Okay. So I do an ending segment with everyone on the podcast. It's called Desert Island Questions.
Let's go.
All right, so desert island questions, whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island and use until they starve to death and die. First category, 3 movies to take on a desert island.
Ooh. Favorite movie is Kill Bill. I don't know why. It's not like a murderer, but I love
a good
that
one.
movie.
That's a good one.
Second movie, Friday.
Fantastic.
One of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know. Let's say it's Sandlot. I like baseball.
The Sandlot. I like baseball. I feel like that was that was just a bush league.
It was just something.
What was the movie that you were thinking of that you were picturing?
It's like a psychological thriller. It's an old ass movie. I can't think of it.
That's fair.
I'll go with another Quentin Tarantino movie, Pulp Fiction. It's a great movie.
It's a good one
watch
too.
That anytime. So
yeah, that's a good one too. Everyone always that's been picked on here a bunch. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
I think it's probably his most overrated movie.
Really?
That's probably my least favorite. And it's not that I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously a great movie, but it's definitely at the bottom of my list.
Okay.
It's interesting though because so many people pick it on here. I think it's a nostalgia thing too because I think
that's really what it is.
I didn't see that until later in life.
There wasn't a lot of action in that movie. They just talked a ton.
Yeah, it was a lot of dialogue, and that was like something
walking,
100% walking, and like weird stuff. But those are good choices. Those are definitely 3 good choices you could watch over. Do you read at all?
Yeah, I'm a big like self-help.
If you had to pick 3 books, what are 3 books that you liked?
Ooh, all right, The Alchemist was one of my favorite books I've ever read. The Art of Love, and 50 Laws of Power was a cool book to read. Also, Psycho-Cybernetics was a audio book that I was put on whenever.
Psycho-Cybernetics.
Yeah, it's a crazy turn in categories of books, but
what's that about?
Basically, the science of like picturing what you want in your mind, and attracting what you want.
Oh, like the what's that? What's the book? The Secret?
Yeah. So
Manifestation.
Exactly. So it's that.
I swear to God, I think about manifestation.
Yeah, for sure, all day long.
All day. I truly feel like that I have some sort of way to be able to like manifest some shit.
We all do. I 100% believe that, and we do it all day long. And yeah, I agree with you on that. That was a trainer friend of mine put me on that book, and it helped me. I probably listened to this audiobook maybe 5 times, some chapters about 20 times, but
which book?
The Psycho-Cybernetics book.
Yeah.
I didn't read it, but I just listened to it. I would listen to it while I was walking or just kind of doing random shit around the house. But that really helped. Now that I'm saying that out loud to myself, I realized that it was really one of the big things that helped me like change my mindset about just everything in my life, about what I wanted and what I wanted to make happen in my life, and just like
creators of our own destiny.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even on top of that shit, I'm talking about like weird shit too.
Weird
like,
shit,
you ever have weird shit happen to you? Like that you're like, this is gonna happen. We were at a race one time. This is one thing that just popped into my mind. We were at a race one time, like at Lernerville Speedway.
Yeah.
And I had a 50-50 ticket. I was with my wife. She was like, let's just leave. And I was like, I swear to God, I'm going to hit this 50-50 right now. Didn't go off for a half hour. Hit the fucking 50-50.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. And that happened. And I swear in my being, I was like, this is going to happen. I was at a gun bash. The last gun being rung, I was like, I'm going to hit this ticket right now. Hit it.
Yeah.
It was weird. I know that doesn't really matter, but I swear
Well, I mean, it seems insignificant, but I mean, I think
some level of it.
It comes down to the belief of that this is mine already. And just like, I believe that feeling in your heart and in your soul, and you're just like, like if it's just automatic, then
for sure
that lines something up. Like,
but you're right though, as far as like we do a little bit of manifestation every day, because even if it's just in the way that, I know that I'm gonna get healthier and feel better, you're manifesting your destiny by carving out some time and spending it in the gym.
For sure. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
I think there's purposeful like action that you take and you're manifesting something, but there's also the shit that happens upstairs where like you're just putting yourself in that mental place of this is what I want to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, or like I don't have the tools to make it happen. You know what I mean? But like I'm gonna think about it enough, and just usually like you just figure out whatever the problems are that lead to whatever the destination is.
Absolutely.
And stay focused on that and don't give up on it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Motivating. Okay, third category, 3 CDs. Very excited to hear what you pick.
CDs? You mean like an actual CD?
Yeah, like a CD. What was the first CD you ever bought?
Well, I didn't buy my first CD that I owned, but I remember asking for, I think it was a Bone CD.
Of course.
So I'm going to say that's definitely my first a favorite CD of mine. That's going to be on the list, but I didn't get that at first. I got Will Smith's
Big Willie style.
Big Willie style for Christmas one
Amen.
year.
He's on the front with the unbuttoned shirt. Let's get it. I got it for Easter that year.
I was like, thanks.
Yes.
For this rap album.
Yeah. Thanks for this Big Willie style. That's funny.
So yeah, Bone, East Eternal, 1999.
Yeah.
One of my favorite albums.
That's like anyone from McKee Sports' default answer.
It's yeah, you're right. That's crazy.
100%. No one, I swear, no one likes Bone Thugs and Harmony more than people that went to McKee Sports. My brother put me onto it.
Maybe more than people in Cleveland. I'm pretty sure. Like,
dude, it's weird. It's weird because like I don't remember who else I had on here. It might have been Ben. Ben from Yoli's.
Yeah.
Had Benny on here, and I swear he said Ben. And I knew it was coming out of his mouth because like that was like one thing my brother always had playing.
No doubt. I'll still rock. I'll play some Bone right now. Who else? Lil Wayne for sure.
Which one?
Dedication 2. That mixtape was fire to me. I still play it to this day.
Yeah.
What else? I'm still. I gotta name something new.
You listen to a lot of new shit?
I don't.
I know. I listen to all old stuff.
Yeah, a lot of old stuff. I work out. I'm thinking of music that I work out to, but I listen to Travis Scott a lot. Yeah, whenever I work out, that just gets me hype. So
are you a big like music when you're working out, music when you're running and stuff?
Yeah, not all the time, but I can definitely work out without music. But it puts me in the zone for sure.
Hell yeah.
Some gangster rap,
for sure.
Some shit that I don't do in my real life.
Come on.
Oh my god, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, it's funny what I listen to whenever you work out, like, because I'm not the person that I listen to in my headphones. And,
I know. I listen to weird shit, very weird shit that'll be like, it'll go from emo stuff. I actually just started listening to David Goggins' book while I'm running. Mm-hmm. You ever listen to his?
No, I know all about David Goggins, but I haven't listened to the book. But you're gonna make me do it now.
Dude, his book is wild because it's a different format. Apologize for the dog, but different format where people where it's like a podcast book reading. He got a dude that's reading it, and then he just chimes in and gives the whole like, "You don't be a weak motherfucker," But it's dope because like I swear I usually will do like 30 or 40 minutes on the treadmill to start out with like a 15 incline, and just do it real quick at like 3. But it's usually like I'll start sweating at like, 27 minutes, or like 15 minutes, but like, listening to him, I felt like I could go forever.
Hell yeah. You don't want to stop.
Dude, he's motivating.
He's probably one of the best people to listen to.
For sure.
He's not going to let you give up.
Yeah. That dude will call you a pussy to your face.
Call your mom.
Yeah, he will for sure. It'd be funny. Okay. So, you picked 3? Yeah. You picked 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Third to last question is the death row meal. So, you get an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert.
Appetizer. Man, it's going to sound like my meal prep.
That's all right. Because after this, I'm going to ask you if you had, like, what's your cheat meal?
Yeah. So, I'm going to say, there's nothing more than I love just steak and potatoes, man. Sweet potato, regular potato. Yeah. Just a well-cooked steak, medium. I'm going with the main meal there. Just give me some mashed potatoes, maybe. Yeah, for sure. Appetizer. We're gonna warm this up with.
It's always interesting to hear people's picks for an appetizer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what I want to eat before I die, though. So I'm not digging that too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big fan. It sounds such a health thing, but I love Brussels sprouts.
I love them.
Yeah, give me some of those.
Some Brussels sprouts.
Caramelized Brussels sprouts. Yeah.
I make some honey sriracha Brussels sprouts.
Oh, yes,
they go crazy.
Let's go.
They go crazy. Okay, dessert.
Ooh, I'm not a big sweets person. Even just in general.
Peanut butter and jelly.
I mean, nah, I don't.
Dude, I just ended up getting fresh peanut butter from Whole Foods.
Yeah.
I usually would get the jar shit.
Yeah.
I just got this fresh shit. I was like, God damn, I've been missing out.
Do you get regular peanut butter or do you get almond butter?
I got regular peanut butter.
Okay.
I saw that they had the almond butter was like not full all the way. Yeah, something crazy. But they had honey roasted peanuts and they had regular peanuts.
Okay.
And I got the regular, but I might try the honey roasted next time. But I didn't know that they had that. I felt like I've been missing out for years.
Yeah, get rid of that Jif.
Yeah,
stuff.
I know, for real terrible.
Seriously, it's a good point. Just buy some stuff that's a little more quality. You know what I mean?
Less preservatives.
Yeah, for sure. Pay attention to that. So, dessert. I'm gonna say just give me a big piece of chocolate cake.
Yeah, I love it. That's a good
Yeah,
answer.
it's easy.
Good answer for sure. What's like your cheat meal?
I don't have a cheat meal per se. I will eat some stuff that is not considered healthy, but let's say what that is.
Like, are you like someone that's like, sometime I'll go get a Big Mac and just tear it up?
It's never gonna be McDonald's. That's never gonna be cheese. That's the definite.
When's the last time you had McDonald's?
It's probably been years. I just don't like McDonald's.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think ever since that Netflix series too.
That crazy. Super Size Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That messed me up. I was like, that dude's crazy for that.
What's your fast food choice if you do have to pick one?
Chick-fil-A. I think that's the...
Amen.
Yeah. I mean...
They're opening a Cane's right down the road. And I never had it, but everyone says Cane's is better than Chick-fil-A, so I'm excited to try it out.
Okay. All right, new chicken spot.
Chicken spot. I'm excited.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is probably the go-to, or Chipotle.
Yeah.
I live above a Chipotle, so that's dangerous. But it's also very healthy way to get some fast food and just some simple meals in. So
for sure. All right, those are good answers.
Yeah.
Okay, second to last question. If you're getting ready to go on a road trip, you go into a gas station, you have to pick a snack. What's your choice? You're gonna pick peanuts, aren't you?
No, absolutely. No, I'm definitely getting a Snickers.
Okay.
Definitely some joint papers.
What's your paper of choice?
I guess I use zigzags a lot, but my homie OG, I'm gonna say this right, OG POV Universe has rolling papers that I've been using. It's a rice paper. It's nice. So shout him out.
There you go. There you go. A little Snickers bar and a little rolling paper. That's all you need.
A little road trip, maybe some chips.
Yeah. Okay. If you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Conversation. I go say alive. Dave Chappelle is probably one of my favorite people talk of all times. He's just funny as hell.
Really good answer.
It
would be a great conversation
for sure. I don't think I need to talk. I'm just put a topic.
Yeah, just listen.
Go for it. You know what I mean?
I loved his like during COVID whenever he did the outside specials and everything. Like he always been a gangster.
No
for
doubt.
Sure.
Like I love just beyond the topics that he talks about is just that he's not afraid to say what he is on his mind, and that he's just so witty and smart about it.
Smart, and he just is like it's not even that he's callous. He's just like, he's composed. That's a good way to say
and
it.
Intelligent about what he's making a joke about. Because I mean, I feel like the stuff that he jokes about is so sensitive.
But he doesn't, it's not low hanging fruit.
Right.
He's talking about something, but he's trying to soften it with comedy,
right. But
and bring up something valid.
Exactly. That's what I enjoy about him. I mean, I love stand-up comedy, but he's definitely one of my favorite people.
For sure.
And just, of all time. So I'd love to, Dave Chappelle would be my answer for that for sure.
Very great answer. Okay. Dude, I appreciate you coming over and talking to me.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Please take a second, promote your pages, tell people where they could get your app, where they could follow you on Instagram, Facebook, cool. The whole thing.
So you can download the apps from the Apple Store. It's Train With Dorian. You'll see my big face on the front of it doing some dumbbell curls. You can also get that from the Google App Store. trainwithdorian.com is my website. And my Instagram handle is @trainwithdorian. I'm also on TikTok, but I'm not on it that much. And I probably don't even know my
What's your thought about TikTok?
I don't have much.
I mean, like as a business person that's like trying to create stuff online, like, do you feel that like you have to like try to start get on it?
I feel like I think that you should be on social media if you have a business. If you're not, then
I'm talking about TikTok specifically.
TikTok specifically? Yeah.
Like, do you have any intention on like, cutting out some time to like focusing on that?
I'd say yes, because I'm not on there heavy now. Instagram is kind of like my bread and butter, but it's only because I feel comfortable there. So I just need to
it's dying.
Not be a dinosaur. I understand that too.
100% it is. All the young kids are on TikTok, and my wife's been like, you need to just start putting your shit on there. And you definitely need to put your shit on there too, because that's where everyone's seeing everything.
Yeah, I see that, and I'm learning it. So I'm trying not to be a dinosaur and kind of get stuck in my ways. And yeah, the TikTok thing is definitely a move I'll be making. I just need to tighten up on that.
I know it sucks. It sucks. But yeah, dude, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day. Everyone else that's listening, appreciate it as usual. Each and every week, we're back with another great guest talking about all the good stuff that they do in our city. Thank you for listening. Call you right back.